Howdy, welcome to BanjoBenClark.com. I'm Banjo Ben. It's Christmas time. It's time to learn another great Christmas song. We're going to do We Three Kings in a Build-A-Break fashion, as you just heard. So we're going to start out with the very basic melody that anybody can learn, get that under our fingers, and then we're going to expand that into a really fun intermediate version that sounds good whether you have somebody backing you up or not. It can also just stand alone as a great little banjo solo. So if you're watching here on the website as a GoPay member, you know the drill. You've got everything you need right here on this page, including the tabs and the MP3 jam tracks. If you're watching somewhere else, I'd love for you to come over on the website. Let's jump into this basic melody for We Three Kings. We're doing this song today in the key of E minor, which is the relative minor of G major, which is what our banjos are tuned to. So we don't have to do anything special to our banjo today. No capos or anything, just open G tuning. And this is also the key that most of your hymnals are going to have this Christmas carol in, so it works great. This solo works great as an accompaniment for you to sing along with or for you to play for other folks to sing. The other thing I want to mention is that it's a waltz, so it's different than most songs that we learn. It has 3 beats per measure. That's what waltz means. And that only poses a bit of a trick whenever we get into playing the rolls, because we're used to playing rolls over 4 beat measures. Now we're going to have to adapt to 3 beat measures. It's actually really fun. But first, let's jump into the basic melody here. So a couple things you need to notice. One is we have those words beneath each one of the notes. That's just to let you know where we are. The second thing you want to notice is I have the little pick indications beneath each one of the notes in the circles. Those aren't necessarily concrete because we're going so slow. You could play the whole thing with your thumb if you wanted to, but those are just suggestions as to which fingers to pick the strings with. Now, we're going to take this basic melody later on and build a intermediate solo, and we're going to preserve this melody, but it's important to get our fingers around it first so that we can know what to do to build a break as stated. Okay, so we're going to start off with our open second string, and you'll notice that this note does not have a stem that goes all the way up to it. You see that there? For the word we, that's because it's a half note. It gets 2 beats. So 1, 2, and then we're going to go down to the second fret of the G string and play that second fret for the 3rd beat. So the counting sounds like this. 1, 2, 3. And that's the rhythm that we're going to have for a lot of the measures in this arrangement, in this melody, where we have a half note followed by a quarter note. We see that in the very next measure. 1, 2, 3. But then measure 5 for orient, we're going to have 3 quarter notes. 1, 2, 3. And then the last measure in that line is a dotted half note. It gets the entire measures. It gets 3 full beats. So if I play that first line slowly for you, counting along, it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, now we're going to have some repeating in the next line, the exact same thing. In measure 11, we're going to have an open G string, same rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Measure 14, 3 quarter notes. 1, 2, 3. So nothing very difficult happening with our fretting hand, nothing too difficult with our pick hand either. Just playing that very basic melody. Next line. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now the last measure in this line is that transition measure that takes us up to that major key. And some people play 2 measures here. We're going to just play 1 measure. I'm going to play that 4th fret with my ring finger. It's going to get 2 beats. Oh, and then we'll play the 3rd beat on that 2nd fret. So that whole line. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we'll get into the chorus, and it's actually easier to play than the verse. Lots of open notes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then we repeat that again. Star with all your beauty bright. Then we have kind of a throwback to some melody that we had in the verse, so you shouldn't have any problem with it once you get it down. Measure 27. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, this some more repeating. So 3 of the 4 lines in the chorus are exactly the same. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. When we're playing notes on that 3rd string, we can choose to play with either our thumb or our index. It doesn't really matter. It will matter later on whenever we get into the rolls. And that's what we're going to do next. Actually, what we're going to do next is play through this basic melody version all the way through together, just slowly. So make sure we have our hands around that melody. Then we'll dive into the intermediate solo where we're going to take this basic melody and build another break. Add some rolls to it, some pinches, get it sounding good. If you're watching somewhere else besides banjobenclark.com, I'd love to have you on board. I have hundreds of lessons, including lots of Christmas lessons too. Let's keep going.